Welcome to the Ellis Show's top 10 point guards ever. In this video, we are going to talk about top 10 point guards of all time. So before starting the video, like this video and subscribe to our channel for future update. Number 10, Gary Payton. Perhaps the greatest point guard defender of all time, Gary Payton had unnatural strength for his size, quick feet, and elite hands and timing to help him lock down foes one-on-one as well as rack up the steals. He was also an excellent playmaker and a solid scorer, who used a solid mid-range game to get buckets. He has one NBA title, 9 All-NBA selections, 9 All-Star appearances, 1 Defensive Player of the Year award, and 9 All-Defensive First-Team selections. Number 9, Steve Nash. Along with Mike D'Antoni and the 7 seconds or less Suns, Steve Nash moved basketball forward thanks to his pick-and-roll wizardry and ability to shoot off the dribble, including from beyond the arc, something that wasn't as common in his era. Nash's 2 MVP awards were quite controversial, but there's no discussing he's one of the finest players of his generation. He has 2 MVP awards, 7 All-NBA selections, and 8 All-Star appearances. Number 8, John Stockton. John Stockton's assists and steals record will never be beaten, as the Jazz legend finished his career with 15,806 assists, 3,715 more than the second highest player, and 3,265 steals, 581 more than anyone else. Was he ever the best point guard in the NBA? Perhaps not, but the longevity speaks for itself, and Stockton was excellent for a very long time. He has 11 All-NBA selections, 10 All-Star appearances, and 5 All-Defensive Second-Team selections. Number 7, Isiah Thomas. Perhaps the best player ever under 6'1", Isiah Thomas combined talent with fierce competitiveness. He could create at an elite level, but could also score out of the mid-range off the dribble. He was the face of the bad boys Pistons, who beat Jordan's Bulls 3 straight times in the playoffs in the late 80s. The one thing holding Thomas back on this list is he had a short career for star standards. He has 2 NBA titles, 1 Finals MVP, the All-NBA First-Team selections, and 12 All-Star appearances. Number 6, Oscar Robertson. The first player to average a triple-double in league history, Oscar Robertson was an expert playmaker, rebounder, and scorer at the lead guard spot, and a somewhat underrated player historically. He experienced very little team success until he joined forces with Lou Alcindor in Milwaukee, but did eventually win an NBA championship. One of the most well-rounded offensive guards ever. He has 1 NBA title, 1 MVP, 9 All-NBA First-Team selections, 12 All-Star appearances. Number 5, Russell Westbrook. Men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. One of the most energetic players the NBA has ever seen, Russell Westbrook is absolutely tenacious every minute he's on the floor, often fighting off bigger opponents for rebounds and flying down the floor in transition to throw down monstrous dunks. Of course, as is the case with basically every player, age is starting to affect the former triple-double machine, and that athleticism and energy level are starting to dwindle as Westbrook's effectiveness pales in comparison to what they used to be. He gave us one of the best movie seasons we've seen in recent memory. He averaged 31 points, 11 assists, and 10 rebounds. He has 1 MVP, 9 All-NBA selections, and 9 All-Star appearances. Number 4, Chris Paul. The point guard. Chris Paul is one of the steadiest floor generals in NBA history, capable of acting as a head coach on the floor, getting teammates into the right spots, destroying opponents out of the pick and roll, and scoring at a high level when needed thanks to his unreal touch as an off-the-dribble scorer in the mid-range. Only thing still missing from his legacy is a ring, but he's a first-ballot Hall of Famer with or without one. He showed he can lead multiple teams to the playoffs. He has 11 All-NBA selections, 12 All-Stars appearances, and 7 All-Defensive First-Team selections. Number 3, Jason Kidd. One of the greatest point guards ever, Jason Kidd could make the flashy pass or the simple play with the best of them, while also loving to hightail it in transition to wear opponents down in transition. Also used his ridiculous basketball IQ to rack up steals and defend at a high level. He even became an adept outside shooter later on in his career, which really added to his longevity. He has 1 NBA title, 5 All-NBA First-Team selections, 10 All-Star appearances, and 9 All-Defensive selections. Number 2, Magic Johnson. The leader of one of the finest teams in basketball history, Magic Johnson had flash, pizzazz, and any adjective you can think of as a playmaker, often hightailing it down the open floor and making spectacular passes that not many others would have attempted, let alone pulled off as successfully as he did. Magic was also a winner, making iconic plays over and over again in the biggest of stages. Add in his super charismatic personality, and you have the complete package as one of the biggest superstars the league has ever seen. He has 5 NBA titles, 3 Finals MVPs, 3 MVPs, 9 All-NBA first-team selections, and 12 All-Star appearances. Number 1. Steph Curry. Steph Curry changed the way the game is played, as now basically every player on the floor wants to shoot threes and needs to be able to hit them for your offense to keep up with modern scoring. Curry's a wizard not only as a shooter, but his playmaking deserves more credit than it receives. The future Hall of Famer out of Davidson is already the greatest shooter ever, and it's not particularly close. 2021-22 was an eventful season for Curry's legacy too, as no player did more to add to their list of accolades than Curry, who won his 4th championship, his 2nd with Durant, and locked up the final award. He was missing a Finals MVP. He has 4 NBA titles, 1 Finals MVP, 2 MVPs, 4 All-NBA first-team selections, and 8 All-Star appearances.